this.
A teenager says he's afraid to go to school after his high school sees multiple threats already this week.
I definitely didn't feel safe coming back.
The most recent threat forces school officials to cancel class.
I think it's a very sad time that we're living in, and it's not fair to our children.
The Federal Reserve raises interest rates again in an effort to curb inflation.
We have both the tools we need and the resolve that it will take to restore price stability.
We're taking a closer look at the way the rising rates impact you and your money.
Can you wait before you jump into the housing market or to buy that new car? Because it's going to cost you more.
And a group of Denver public school students taking the district to court.
It's just so ironic that as a district you claim to care about student diversity, you claim to care about racial diversity, and then you turn around and try to silence us.
Boy, is it feeling like fall all across the metro. You can see some rain clouds as we take a live look from downtown Denver.
So do bring your umbrella or rain jacket if you have plans tonight. Parts of the Front Range and the High Country seeing some rain.
All right, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. He's been tracking the showers that are moving in.
We knew it was coming. I mean, it makes me feel better, but maybe nobody else. It's cold out there. 34 degrees colder right now than it was this time yesterday. Akron's 43 degrees colder, as is Burlington. Crazy. The numbers have dropped into the upper 40s to low 50s across the Northeast Plains as the cold front moved in last night on schedule. We're also getting moisture coming up from the south, and that combination of the cooler air and the moisture from the south means a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. Getting some thunder up around the Steamboat area and Craig at the moment, and just kind of a chilly rain expected in the Denver area, probably a quarter to half an inch of rain expected tonight and for tomorrow. This is what it looks like from City Park. Very gloomy conditions, and the headlines are as follows: rainy and cool tonight. Heavy rain at times for the mountains tonight. More showers on Thursday. Autumn begins tomorrow at 7:03 p.m. It sure feels like it right now. The weekend looks much better. Details to follow.
All right, Mike, thanks. Developing news out of Aurora, where 3 people were taken to the hospital because an RTD light rail train derailed this afternoon. This happened near Exposition and Sable. The train, as you can see, is on the sidewalk and on the road, and firefighters are expecting that it will be there for some time. Police have not said yet what caused that derailment. 2 threats in 3 days at a high school in the metro has students and parents worried.
The threats happened at Adams City High School, and today the district called off classes to investigate yesterday's threat. Number 7's Bayan Wang live there. And Bayan, you talked to a student afraid to go back to school.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's true. And he wasn't the only student afraid to go back to school, and you can't really blame him considering on Monday a student brought a gun onto campus, and just yesterday a bomb threat.
Anyway, Lionel, what you do is you have to clean your map sensor so you get better gas mileage.
Today's lesson for Lionel Martinez,
And that's a regular range.
All right.
was on cars and tools. Math and science were put on hold Wednesday. In fact, the entire campus at Adams City High School was closed.
I'm not at school because there was a bomb threat at the school.
Commerce City Police was notified of these threats Tuesday, only confirming they were spread through social media and that they were working with the FBI to determine who sent them.
We don't really kind of feel safe, especially since like the Monday.
That's when the school was placed on lockdown after reports of an armed student. Photos showing students packed inside the school's gym. Parents like Leona Pacheco terrified from what their students were telling them.
My grandson called me and told me, Grandma, there's a shooter in the hallway, in hallway C, and they have us locked up in the gymnasium.
But for Martinez, what's worse than losing a sense of safety is the new awareness his generation has.
I think this is just a reality of the times, honestly.
And today, district officials spent their day going to various campuses to try to restore a sense of safety there, because these threats didn't just impact the students here, they really impacted students at different schools as well. As for the Adams City High School, they will resume class tomorrow. Authorities say the bomb threats yesterday were not credible. Back to you guys.
Yeah, still very unsettling though. Bayan, thank you. Commerce City police say a 14-year-old boy is back home safe tonight, 2 days after he was last seen leaving Adams City High School. Officials say Emmanuel Melgar may have been scared when a gun was found at that school Monday afternoon. Denver Public Library locations will have extra police patrols because of an unspecified threat. That threat forced all locations to close today, and Denver police say that threat came from outside of Colorado and that other threats had been sent to libraries all across the U.S. The library has not said if locations will be back open tomorrow.
A group of students is suing Denver Public Schools after the district filed to trademark the name of their podcast. Denver 7's Megan Lopez spoke with the students about this lawsuit.
Black Lives Matter! It started with protests 2 years ago. A social justice movement that sparked an idea for a group of Denver public school students, an idea to create a podcast.
This pandemic has drastically and disproportionately affected our Black and brown communities.
The students called it No Justice, No Peace, and ever since then they've been recording regular episodes.
The podcast was like a really big passion for me.
And their work has taken off, leading to national attention and even awards.
It's just kept building on, and I feel like it really shaped who we are today.
But this school year, when the students wanted to start recording again, they say DPS blocked them and tried to trademark their podcast as its property.
It was a legal document. It was addressed to our former principal, but saying that she has to cease and desist the use of the No Justice, No Peace.
It's just hurtful, and just to see him like snatch it away, that feeling, I was like kind of set back.
Their lawyer, Jeffrey Cass, has now filed a lawsuit against DPS over that trademark.
The Denver public school system has chosen not to support their students.
The students did record the podcast on school property using school equipment, but Cass says the idea and the work was theirs.
We should be standing in awe of these teenagers rather than suppressing them.
No other student deserves to have to fight as much as we do.
But the students say they're willing to fight as long as it takes.
It's just so ironic that as a district you claim to care about student diversity, you claim to care about racial diversity, you claim to care about just in general us as students, and then you turn around and try to silence us.
They still want to keep recording their stories from their vantage points, but it will be up to the courts to decide who owns the rights to that podcast. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
In a statement to Denver 7, DPS said it looks forward to the legal process and clearing up any misinformation that's in the complaint. It says serving more than 90,000 students, DPS must maintain the integrity of our educational programs and intellectual property. It goes on to say it's unfortunate that Mr. Cass has misrepresented the facts and law in an attempt to push the narrative that DPS did anything other than assert its rights through the legal process.
Stocks ended the day in the red with the Dow down nearly 2%. Wall Street took a tumble after the Federal Reserve announced it's raising interest rates by 0.75 of a point. This is the fifth time this year the Fed has raised interest rates, which now range between 3 and 3.25%. This is the highest level since 2008, and the Fed is hoping that raising rates will stop inflation, which was at 8.3% last month.
Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all.
The Fed says this latest hike won't be the last, with rates expected to hit 4.6% next year.
So let's take a closer look at what the rate hike will mean for you. Now, for example, if you have a $5,000 balance on your credit cards and you're making minimum payments, you're already paying an additional $870 a year in interest. So after today's hike, that will increase to $1,100.
What's happening right now should be a warning bell that get out of debt that you have and don't take on as much debt, because whatever you take on, it's going to cost you more.
And some ways to help keep up with the high interest on your credit cards. Try to pay down that balance, starting with your cards with the highest rate. Also, if you qualify, look for a 0% balance transfer card, and of course, pay with cash or a debit card when possible.
Higher interest rates also impact the housing market. A recent study from homebuyer.com shows Colorado is the 5th most expensive state to buy a home, and it could get even more expensive. The average fixed mortgage rate topped 6%. That's the highest in 14 years. And realtors say buyers who could have afforded a $700,000 home back in June may now be looking in the $600,000 range.
Former President Donald Trump is at the center of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
Plus, now is the time to start thinking about holiday travel plans.
This is when you're going to get the best deals and the best availability.
And a boy in Aurora is showing off his musical talents.
Do you know you're doing that, or just all comes out?
Maybe it just all comes out.